Hey everybody, I'm recording for you on the madness of a night in my house, not during school hours, but I felt like I needed to leave you a little bit of information about today so that you didn't just sit and feel like you had nothing to do today. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that the painting project and the comparative study are not due until the end of the year. So I've laid that out on the reminders and bulletins in our classroom. They're in red right now too, so that I really want to emphasize this to you that although they're both due at the end of the year, there might be days when you're working on one more than the other, but I gave you both to work at the same time so that if you weren't feeling like working on one day, you could not lose momentum in the class and you could work on another. So if you weren't feeling inspired by doing research, then you could work on a painting instead. So that was the goal, was to help you balance this. So throughout the process to the end of the year, I'll be checking in with you and seeing where you're at in each of the processes, and also on certain days on the agendas, I'll be assigning certain things to do for each task on those days. So we won't have any more like big lectures. We might talk about artwork a little bit, but from here on out, it's kind of just really focusing on getting these two things done this year. So the artworks, the three artwork choices for the comparative study are due next Tuesday, which is a week from today. It doesn't seem like, it sounds like a long way away, April 20th, but it's just around the corner. So you've got this week to really focus on choosing your artworks, but also spending some time figuring out how you're going to do the painting project. So you've got all that information last week, and this week is sort of unpacking that and figuring out what the next step is toward the painting project. I've emailed with a couple of you and told you my specific ideas, or told you what to go with. So I'll start to check in with you and get a little more specific, especially towards the end of the month. I'll check in with you about the comparative study, and when I check in with you about that, I'm also going to ask about the painting project too. So we've got a lot of check-in stuff coming at the end of the month. Once we transition back to school, that'll kind of be what we're doing there. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that the process portfolio, you're not allowed to use the same artworks from your process portfolio in the comparative study and vice versa. So there's no, you can definitely use the same artists, but you're not allowed to use the same artwork. So if you're using an artist, if you're using Barbara Kruger's one of her images for one thing, then you've got to use another one of her images for another. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to use that artist. So it's good to always, study those few artists throughout the class that you'll use, but you're not allowed to really let them tie into each other too much. Those have got to be two separate things. This is the artwork for the comparative study, and then this is just the artwork for my inspiration in the process portfolio. So you've got to separate them out. Lots of stuff going on in the Tabor house today. I think that probably will cover it. So today you've got lots of time to spend on working on your painting project, as well as choosing your artworks for the comparative study. So I liked all the responses that I got last week. Everything looks good where the road that you're going down toward on the painting project and the comparative study. I think you're on the right track. This week is to really pin down what you're doing for the painting project, getting those initial sketches out and initial ideas written down, as well as choosing your three artworks. You don't have to do anything else but choose them, and then you'll have three sources already, because you've got to have a source from where the artwork comes from. So that is what you'll be working on. Email me if you have any questions. I will absolutely be around. I'm holding asynchronous class because that's really the way I had planned it all along when they told us to plan it like this. So you're welcome to email me and I can jump on a meeting with you or whatever. But I really want you to devote this time to working on one of these two things. Have a great day.